in Botswana, it is jubilation galore because the heroes of Botswana, the Olympic Games, arrived home to tens of thousands of packed stadium. And Letsile Tebogo, the man who won the 100 meters goal event, in fact, his sight was rapturous because a lot of people, both in and out of the stadium, while that motorcade came in at Gaborone, the capital of Botswana, was I must say, it was. I can't describe this moment now because people were, on bikes, on rooftops, and you could feel the excitement that something really happened. Traditional dances, and in fact, it could have been any better in terms of the mood of the country, Botswana, when the 21-year-old was seen on top of that roof of that bus, waving at fans that have come to welcome him and others that were part of the team Botswana.
It means a whole lot for the people of Botswana. It also means a lot for Africa. I think this record...
They enjoyed the public holiday.
Yeah, they actually put up a public holiday. The president put up a public holiday. I think for me, this record is not only for Botswana, it's also for Africa. He's the first, African athlete to win the 200 meters, events, getting past the United States of America. That's a very, very huge record, you see, and that's why, they are celebrating it. And it happens to be Botswana's first gold medal at the Olympic Games, and that's why they're making sure that, they give the man such, a welcome. And for me, he really deserved this particular one. Not only that, he also won a silver medal in the 4x100 meters as well, at the Olympic Games.
4x400 meters.
4x400 meters was really an impressive one, taking Botswana's medal tally to 4 before the end of the Paris Olympic Games. Botswana getting 4 medals at the Paris Olympic Games. So for me, I think he deserved this honor. He deserved this particular one. And of course, we saw the young man dedicating his gold medal, of course, to his late mom, who was very instrumental, of course, to his career. And I think for me, of course, was such a very impressive one. And with this, you see that Botswana, of course, will want to build on this. They will want to make sure that, if we can do this, it means we can even do better at the next Olympic Games.
Botswana, with less than 40 athletes that went to the Olympic Games in Paris, coming up with 4 medals. That reminds me of Kenya. Kenya with 72 athletes came back with 11 medals, 4 of them in gold color for Africa, for Kenya, and of course, and Africa. They are the highest winner of medal at the just concluded games for Africa. Nigeria had more contingents.
Over 80 athletes.
And didn't make any medal at all. That's food for thought for those who are going to review Nigerian performances. Will you put, maybe look at the area of strength and enter athletes, and rather than do it jamboree, 88 athletes, over 200 officials accompanying them. This is ridiculous.
Honestly. And for me, I think at this point in time, we should start looking at what other countries are doing. Take a look at Kenya, what they did. They really, participated in the long distance races, the 800 meters, the 1,500. That was where the Kenya dominated. Even Botswana, we just talked about as well. They were able to see how they can concentrate on the areas where they have, strength. Uganda, you can also talk about as well. So for me, I think at this point in time, Nigeria, we should look at those areas we have that strength. We have that comparative advantage. If we take a look at it, okay, in basketball, we've been showing progress over time. Why don't we invest more? Why don't we take a look at to see how we can possibly do better? Investing in basketball, setting up better facilities on ground, and see how we can improve our basketball players down here in the country. That will also give us an edge, when we also have others, of course, playing their trade outside the country. In the track and field event, that is where we've shown strength for a very long time now. And I think it's then time for we to see how to also invest down there in the track and field event. Short puts, we also got a little bit advantage. Chukwuebuka Nekuchi has been the man that has been shouldering the burden of Nigeria when it has to do with short put. Discus through, the likes of Choma and Yukiri. These are athletes, of course, that have been there. They can't possibly do better. In football as well, we also have talent down here in the country. We should be able to see how to develop this sport. I saw us, participating in canoeing, whereas we don't even practice canoeing in the country. Swimming as well. These are sports we don't even attempt to practice down here in the country, but during the Olympics, you see us go down there with it. Even cycling.
Well, this has to do with the fact that we have promising athletes that are based outside of Nigeria who are into these sports. Like we mentioned the other day, depth of facilities do not allow for effective preparation of Nigerian athletes leading to the Olympic Games. So we have to rely on those who have exposed to better facilities outside of Nigeria. But the ability to monitor them and ensure that they enter into most of this tournament has been the bane of our development in sports. So, well, let's keep our fingers crossed on that and maybe allow for stock taking here in Nigeria. Talking about the Olympic Games reminds us that the next edition of Olympic Games comes up in the United States of America, and that will be in 2028. And we are understanding now that there will be new sports that will be introduced at the Los Angeles Games in 2028. There's one called flag football. Kingsley, let us in on what flag football is about at the Olympic Games, next Olympic Games in Los Angeles.
This is going to be, another interesting sport to look at for. It's a little bit more like,
badminton?
Yes, badminton, a little bit more like rugby events, a rugby game, or you could say baseball in the United States of America. And it's going to boil down that the defensive team removing a flag or flag belt from the ball carrier, to the end down of the field. So I think maybe when the game comes up, we'll be able to have more understanding, about it. But I think this is another innovation. We've seen the IOC, that the International Olympic Committee, coming up with. Remember, in the just concluded Paris Olympic Games, we saw so many sports that we didn't even touch up, even part of sport, the likes of Ludo, the likes of breakdance, and the rest of them. These are sports that we didn't even thought, of course, we're going to see at the Paris Olympic Games. But it's so interesting. Not only the flag football events, we're going to be seeing the likes of softball, baseball, even cricket will now also be introduced as well in the next Olympic Games. So for me, I think it's a new innovation. And for me, it is a welcome development. Some other countries will want to capitalize on this. It might also be an area where countries, of course, will be able to rack up medals as well.
Talking about the 5 new sports expected to be part of the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. You mentioned that cricket. Cricket has not been part of the Olympic Games for a while. I think the last time we saw that was way back in 1900. That was when we saw that. And 1900. That's really, really a long time. And we understand too that with lacrosse is only making a return after so many years as well of not being part of the Olympic Games. Flag football, new one completely coming to football, and this is like an admixture of badminton and rugby. We hope the world will enjoy this. Leading up to it, we should get it. But time for us now to return to have a break, and when we return, Kingsley, there will be a lot to talk about because football is back across Europe, especially today. There will be the second football event that heralds the return of football to Europe for 2024-2025 football season. And I must tell you something. One man is a major casualty already. Jose Mourinho is already a casualty of the football season that is getting underway across Europe. And here in Nigeria, Edo Queens are making sure that they get to the crucial stages of the Women's CAF Champions League. When we return from a break,